Hey everybody, it's Lance with Field Trial Central. One more time, we're gonna get a little interview with Ike Todd. We pulled our hat trick down here in Reeder, North Dakota. Again, Ike is between Reeder and Hettinger, just by Bucyrus. But I know Ike has been running a few weeks now on birds, and probably finding some. He'll give us a little comment on that. But similar to all the other ones this year, we're trying to just get out of these guys what are they doing and how are they doing it. Just get a little deeper into the conversations of these bird dog trainers and how they get these dogs to do what they're supposed to do to become field trial dogs or hunting dogs, but bird dogs in general. So without further ado, here's Ike. Good afternoon, Ike.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. So thank you so much again for taking time out of your schedule. I know it's the time is precious up here, and again, we appreciate you taking time to have a conversation with us and teach us what you do on a daily basis up here on the prairies, and preface that with certainly at home I know there's a lot of pre-work into coming up here to the prairies to make sure every dog is as ready as they can be, and as well as all your stuff is prepared to have a successful camp. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so again, last year we talked about the why. This year we want to talk about that what are you doing up here. So let's just start with puppies, and then we can talk about derbies, and I know that's a main focus of yours up here. And then you still work a few broke dogs. But let's back up and talk about those puppies and how you start them and develop them into becoming a derby dog, if that's what you believe that they would end up being a good derby dog.
Yeah, I guess with all three, I've got a quote Farrell Miller, and I think it was a quote from his basketball coach in college, was practice like you play. And did I mess up?
No, we're good. Keep going.
With puppies, derbies, and broke dogs, is we have if it's going to a field trial, if it's a field trial dog, I mean, we work them with that in mind. And starting these puppies, I don't run off a four-wheeler, and nothing against it, but if I'm out there on a horse, I set a similar pace and run the puppies off, and then they can't make an hour or two like an older dog, but encourage them to be in front of the horse and pattern and swing, and really not all that much different than on down the road when they're 6. We don't go through there a lope all the time. We might lope up there to the top of the hill, see which way they're going, just the same as you would at a field trial.
Gotcha.
And puppies, I started, I think my mom put stuff on the internet, everybody was talking about that.
Yep.
I'll still bring a pigeon up here with puppies, and it gives them a reason to come back to you instead of force. It's something that they like.
Yep.
And I'd rather use a carrot instead of a club,
right,
for them to come to you.
Yep.
And
that's a good statement. Using the carrot versus a club to get them to come to you.
And people think it's kind of a gimmick, but it works, and you can get a lot of puppies going with you and being happy about it, not just beating them into it or forcing them into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got too many puppies to try to beat it into them. I'm just not going to.
Right. Yeah. It's just not possible, and it's a more effective way. I'm sure. Certainly, it makes your job a lot easier.
Absolutely. We use a pigeon, and then pretty soon a water jug with them, and really I graduate, and it's not 100% proper, but we'll start a little collar conditioning on some that can take it. I'll put if they may have been run in the South for, I don't know, 5-6 months before they get up here, but without a shock collar, and I'll go ahead and put one on up here, and maybe not do it step by step with a rope and condition them correctly, but I'll put it on, and if I've got 10 puppies that stay right here and I'm watering them, and one's wanting to go and leave, he might start learning his name. When he leaves, just give him a little bump with the collar, and sometimes you can have them pretty much over the shock collar pretty soon, just by using a pigeon and a water jug in this warm weather.
Yep.
And they'll learn to come to you. And that's our whole thing. It's not encouraging run.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would be shocked at that statement, right? You're not encouraging that. You want them to be with you.
Absolutely. absolutely, and go through the country and hunt and
Yep.
handle the country, but with you.
Yep. For you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
If you don't start young, it's hard to get it later.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, I mean, you've got that puppy down south,
Yep.
I'd assume, and you did bring some here, but it's still the same process you're doing up here. And yes, I've certainly seen your Facebook page, that your mom posted out there with, your clients are calling.
Yeah.
Why aren't you working my dog? Why get off that video?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
just kidding.
Might be.
Yeah. But when you get up here, it's the similar process. I mean, we saw the pictures of your mom or video that your mom took for you. So you're just teaching those pups, young dogs to go with you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So when do you stop doing that, or when would you still do that for a Derby dog and to transition to that Derby process that you have?
Well, like the pups that are up here are like, and some of them, they're 5 months old, 6 months old. They're going to do that from this summer and all through the winter. And up here we bench puppies and start that and kind of get your hands on them and do a little bit of that all winter.
Yep.
And then, I mean, it really changes for them, at least with me, when I get time. Hopefully, they're good on the bench by the time they leave here as a puppy. I mean, just learning whoa on a bench. I mean, just so you put your hands on them and walk on a lead. All right, and that's generally just because they've been to the bench enough times from the kennel.
From the kennel, yeah.
I mean, just so they lead and bench, and then, late winter, start introducing the belly collar, and actually making them stop, more so than just propping them up. But that's when it really changes for them. But that's all away from birds.
Right.
And when it truly changes for my dogs, everybody's shocked. They say, you have your dog broke on pigeons and all in February, coming derbies. And,
Yep.
and I don't. They know whoa, and they don't necessarily look beautiful doing it. But I don't put any pressure on them on game until they come here. They're derby summer.
Gotcha. That's.
And I mean, I say that, and there's times with puppies, if you're in a lot of game, I end up putting a little pressure on them by just not letting them chase them off. We'll call them off a bird, but and just keep them going with you to the next bird. So that's the start of the breaking process, in my opinion, is not just letting them take them a mile away.
Yep.
And that's what we do with the derbies when we get up here. We let them chase for a little while, the first little bit, and then just slowly and take the chase.
Yep.
And try not to do it too quick.
Right. Yep. Don't want to take the fun out of them.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's like I say, I don't really put any stop or breaks on dogs before I get up here for their derby summer. And,
yep. So I remember last year when we talked to you. I mean, you were very high on making sure that derby dog wasn't necessarily completely broke when you left. Yep. And so we've asked a lot of the other trainers, and I think I know your answer, but let's just have that conversation. And your definition of when you leave summer camp, what do you expect that derby dog to be around? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but its pattern and its manners around birds. Where do you put that dog?
I put it where that you can help the dog to, and I like I said earlier, with the field trial in mind, and I said this actually to Randy Anderson at Farrell Miller's Puppy Day this year. There were some folks asking how broke do they need to be at this stage, and if you ask anybody, and Randy was there, or anybody that's won the national with an old dog, did they help that dog? And was so-and-so that won the Perino Award perfect? Never.
Right.
I don't think anybody would say that they didn't help it. And whether it was so-and-so got a little too close to a bird at Grand Junction and they whoop before the judges got there. And I mean, it's not cheating, it's helping your dog. And as far as a derby up here, is if I can stop them with my voice, not just hacking and hollering, but they may have some really good finds where birds are 5 yards away and I'm in between them and the birds. Boy, they stand there, or if it's early in the brace and they run over some or weren't hunting. I mean, they're dogs. They're not hunting off the breakaway, some of them. And
right.
If I can caution them and they stop and style up, if they get to styling up early in a round up here, when I may holler or lightly say whoa whoa, hey, that's plenty on pheasants, which is what I work a lot on.
Yep.
Because the rest of the way on, birds are really easier than these pheasants. And if you factor in the heavy cover, dry conditions, it's tough for these dogs to handle multiple birds
right
perfectly. I mean, I've had a lot of the top dogs up here. They can't handle them perfect every time, as far as just run up there and point them and you flush them.
Right.
And so you got to, with pheasants,
it's a tough bird.
Absolutely. I'll quote Tommy Davis. I remember back when this country was full of birds and he camped north of here, and I talked to him sometime in the late summer, and I had birds and derbies, they were in birds all morning long, and I told him about so-and-so. I said, I just can't hardly get them stopped once we get in a field of 100 pheasants. And he says, they don't need to be. I mean, you need them aggressive on these pheasants, and if they're not, and he is 110% right, if they're not aggressive on these pheasants, they'll be way stale and sloppy on quail.
Yep.
They'll be too careful.
Too careful, yeah.
Absolutely. So you might think Pete or Sally's knocking them, but as long as you can kind of make it okay and stop them and shoot for them, that's probably enough.
Yeah.
That's what, a lot of folks, I don't stay as late as, a lot of people think, man, it's just getting good when you leave. Well, my dogs have been in birds from the 15th of July to like about the 1st of September is when I normally leave, and a lot of folks are wanting to start then.
Yeah.
But if they've been in them a month and a half, they and it's not that they're getting worse, but I can't just polish them like on quail.
Right. Yep.
And then the next year, I do expect a little more out of them up here. After they've had thousands of quail that they've pointed, and it's a lot easier, and everything's
Yeah, the picture's a lot clearer in their mind, right?
Absolutely, and then you can ask a little more out of them.
Right, they'll apply it to a different scent, different type of bird. Yep.
Yeah, and they can be a little more careful.
Yep.
On them.
Yeah. Makes sense, and we talk about that off camera a lot with everybody. Just a dog working a different species of bird in its natural habitat. And right here, like you say, in the pheasants, they're tough.
Oh,
Chickens are tough too, but these pheasants, they
Really
love to run more than they like to fly.
And just every day, and it's the same thing everywhere, whether it's quail or chickens or anything. But the morning you say you might, man, we're going to point them this morning, and they'll be able to handle them. You might not be able to do it. So that's part of what is so fun about being up here is I've run it a lot. I still can't tell when these dogs, before I turn loose, are really going to be able to handle these birds better or more acceptably. This morning, I didn't think it'd be very good at all, but the dogs actually pointed more than, they didn't find as many birds as I've been seeing, but they got pointed in more acceptable manners this morning than so far this summer. And I didn't think that at all before I turned loose.
Yeah.
So it kind of keeps you going every morning. See what's going to happen different.
Yep, certainly. Yeah, we
because it is a lot of Groundhog Day up here. It's
same thing day after day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, that's good. So that, and I think we all knew that. The definition everybody keeps saying is the fall derby. Fall broke, and then that would kind of describe exactly what you said, right? So as long as you could just verbally whoa them, get them stopped, shoot your gun, get off, get that, make sure that dog stopped, get a flush. Either way scenario, just stopping that dog with a verbal is your definition of success for that derby dog leaving camp.
Absolutely. Yep. And sure enough, if you can have them do it, where they style up and kind of not loose and sloppy about it, but where they look good doing it. You know, there's
Yeah.
a difference in one just stopping and hassling and wagging and
Yeah.
loose. But if they're ready to break but look good,
Yep.
I say ready to break. If they're ready to chase, just on that edge, that's where I like to have them up here.
Yep.
Where it looks like they're about ready. I mentioned my mom taking, it was a week ago, and I had a couple of them stopping, and it was almost 2 weeks ago, and she hit the flash or the shutter on her camera, and they took off.
Oh.
That's how, and she actually apologized for it, and I said that's fine, but I mean that's how. They're not finished. I mean, it was a shutter on a camera that they just
Triggered them.
4 of them just took off.
That's
they
funny.
thought I was whistling at them or clucking to them.
Right.
And you know, that's how hair trigger they are.
Yeah, that's how ready they are.
Which is fine.
Eager to go do their job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about broke dogs. Shooting dog or all age dogs that you're working. And I know you have a few up here, and just give us a little understanding of the process that you do with them.
Yeah. Not grind on them near as much as the derbies. Every day. Not every day. They get to go when the weather's better. If it's the derbies kind of go if it's a warm, drier morning or not. They're gonna go.
Yep.
Just a little bit. Might not make a huge round or something. But the dogs that have already made it and kind of pick better days to run them. Lighter cover. Where they can get out and move around a little better and not just fight this cover. This year, the cover is everywhere.
Tough.
Yeah, it's tough to find a place to run them, really.
It's horse belly high.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's thick. Yes.
But like I said, I mean, but I still don't, it's not that you let them get away with murder, but with working on these pheasants, I still help them a little. And you've probably done it yourself. If you go out there with some shot collar and insist that they're perfect on these pheasants, you're going to have a big old stale dog.
Yep.
You really are. I mean, they're going to crowd some of them, and that's okay. I mean, a good stop to flush on with an old dog up here is fine.
Yep.
I do that. That's basically it. But there again, same thing. I don't encourage them to. But most of the dogs I have up here, they're not going to these prairie trials either.
Right.
So I'm not encouraging them to just run all over this country, and I'm not short heating them necessarily just to make them run more the next time or picking them up when they point a bird necessarily. I'm really making them go through their first year dogs. I'm working them just about like these derbies. They probably get more one-on-one than with the derbies,
right?
But they pretty much make them just like I said, practice like you play. I go down through there with the horse and average pace, and if you have to make a turn at the trial, they have to turn. So
yeah,
if they don't turn, they're gonna get corrected, which will shorten them up.
Yep.
And if you insist on that in workouts, I believe a lot of people mess up encouraging them to run. I mean, wanting to see it in the workout. And I think if you work them similar to a field trial and then take them to enough field trials, I don't think a lot of dogs get that opportunity, truly.
Yep.
But they'll free up plenty if they're any good at field trials.
Yes.
And so you're better, in my opinion, better off working them and keeping them right on their game and handling.
Yep.
And then what happens at the field trial happens eventually, and you'll figure out what kind of dog you have at the field trial, really.
Yep.
And obviously, if you mess with a lot of them, you might have a pretty good idea before you get there, but you'll find out if Pete needs 3 days off before the field trial, or 2, or might need to be worked a little the day before. I believe in just work them, and whatever results you're getting, if it's not what you want, change it.
Yeah. That's
so,
definition of sanity, right?
Yeah.
Doing things the same but expecting a different result,
That's
right?
it.
So it doesn't work that way.
There you go. Every dog's different.
Yeah.
But
right.
And you can't give every dog individual attention. But it's my wife's a school teacher, and she tried to figure some of this stuff out, what I was doing, and she didn't have any idea before we got married. And I finally related it to her, that she understood what we're doing up here is public school, and these dogs are in the public school system, and they're just getting something, some groundwork, some foundation to where they can go on, and they'll get more individual attention later on. But right now they just need to kind of toe the line and know at least what's the right thing, what we want out of it.
ABCs 1, 2, 3s.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then from there they can go on to college and
Yes. Yeah.
graduate.
That's funny, because I said that exact thing to somebody the other day. I mean, nearly verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
And we're teaching this dog the ABCs 1, 2, 3s, and pretty soon we're going to be teaching it, calculus and whatever else, right? It as it goes on its career, right? It's got to learn more and more and more.
Absolutely.
And mainly by repetition. And I think coming here, and we've heard it time and time again, right? You bring a dog here, the first year it learns, right? The second year, it was here, and I think off camera you mentioned that about you could tell puppies coming up here, derbies, it's completely different dog.
Completely different, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And of course, what you're looking for is the great dogs that learn on their own and learn. I've got puppies up here, or derbies that were puppies last year. They ran on, and I like to watch, one that remembers. And they remembered last year finding some birds over. We turned loose in a lot of the same places, and I like to watch them take off and,
head to their honey hole.
Absolutely. And people will get on to a dog for doing that. That's intelligence. They're going to where they found birds last year.
Right. Yeah, that's a smart dog. Absolutely intelligence. Yep.
Yep.
Well, we're nearly at 20 minutes, Ike, and I don't know if we thought we would get that much, but this is good stuff. We could sit here and listen all day long, but we'll probably have to end it. We appreciate the time, but before we go, we got to get you your wild card question if you've been watching so far. So I'll let you pick, some of the favorite grounds that you've ran on you'd like to talk about, or, a special dog, yours or somebody else's that you would like to have ran for a day, or, a handler or a trainer or a person you'd like to go and train with for a day. I'll let you pick.
As far as what were the favorite grounds I've ever...
You can talk about any of the three, but if you want to talk about some of the favorite grounds, or it's up to you, whether it's grounds, dog, or a person you'd like to comment on. It's up to you, or any other subject.
I guess I go to the grounds. That's part of what I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy the animals too, but I enjoy the wildlife and the grounds best. And I never actually ran on the courses at Mortlack, but it's closer to 20 years ago now. I was up there and rode during those field trials, and what I understand, the birds aren't like they were then, but I would like to go back in time and work those grounds. I asked if I could work dogs up there, and they told me a place to go work off the grounds, and I didn't even have a horse. I was borrowing a horse up there at the field trial, but I walked, and I bet I found 10, 15 coveys of chickens after running at the field trial in the evening.
Wow.
And so I would like to have ran those grounds.
Yep.
And work dogs on them 20 years ago.
Yep.
Around Mortlack.
Right. That's good stuff.
On that many chicken. They had a bunch of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Those chickens. Everybody loves to chase those chickens.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Well, again, we appreciate it, Ike. We hope you have a great summer training, and good luck at the trials this fall. I think you'll be running some derbies, I'm sure, this fall.
Yep.
And we appreciate your time. You have a great summer camp.
All right. Thanks for coming.